Hello, Denny. I am Yao. I am an undergraduate from Penn State. Welcome to the Evolving Entrepreneurial Interview.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Um, you want to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. My name is Dan, Dan Rivera. I'm here from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 26 years old. Uh, College dropout, um, um, business owner now, real estate investor. And right now, just a little bit more now getting into the tech world and just trying to, just educate myself more what's going on in the tech world, what's going on out there.
Okay. All right, Tom. So today we will be discussing about entrepreneurial leadership, and I will ask you some questions about your business and what you do and stuff like that.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, let's get started. The first question is, what do you think of the entrepreneurial leadership topic, and in your own opinion, what it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Okay, so in my opinion, what do I think an entrepreneurial leader is, and what it
Yeah.
takes to be an entrepreneur leader? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So, um, I mean, it's a lot. That's like that's a big title right there. That's a big title to take on. I think me personally, I think that just the core definition, straight to it, like the steak and rice of what that definition is really just someone who, who's not who's not afraid to, take on responsibilities, to have people depend on him and execute, whatever it can be. It doesn't matter what type of business it is, being a leader can be, anything from, being the main supervisor at the local recreation center for the kids, or just or even up to running up to a Fortune 500, billion-dollar company. So, I think, again, just the meat and rice of what that definition is really just someone who, who will take on the responsibility and just get the job done by any means,
Okay.
And
So yeah,
yeah.
what would you in that?
Yeah, so that, like, the first part of the question was pretty much like, what do I think that definition means? And then, like, I think what it takes is, like I said, whatever it takes to get it done. You gotta have, it's tough. You gotta have, a good judgment on individuals, on people that you can bet on. People that, because you need a team. You can't get everything done yourself, so you gotta not only be able to be able to have what it takes to get it done, but be able to have what it takes to choose people to help you get it done. And so,
Absolutely.
It's rough out there, and it's a lot of competition, so, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's how bad you really want it, how bad do you and your team want it?
Yes, of course. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do and the purpose of your business, and like what kind of business you own?
Absolutely. So, as of now, right now, I'm doing pretty much a lot of property management. We have an investment, real estate investment company now that handles a lot of property management.
Mm-hmm.
Very very often, we'll come across another investor, usually older, who, typically out here in the city where we're at, they have quite a few properties that they have, just a lot of tenants that can be, it can be very overwhelming to deal with all at one time, especially you just being a sole investor and not having a company, or, not having a team. So it could be a lot for a landlord to deal with, or just one investor, and having, multiple properties, having multiple tenants, and having multiple tenants call you for multiple issues and stuff like that. You sometimes, when you meet someone who comes to you and says, maybe I can help take some of that load off your shoulders, it can be beneficial for the both of you. So right now we're doing a lot of property management. A little bit of a little bit of a little bit of rental arbitrage, which is you've heard about it, like Airbnb, short-term rentals,
Yeah.
things of that sort. But as of now, right now with the whole virus, that's kind of been on the back end. It's not really safe to have the crew out there cleaning after a bunch of individuals coming from all over different parts, and especially while this is going on. So we kind of put a halt to that. And so right now what we're basically focusing on is property management and trying to help landlords, just help things keep going copacetically and make sure the tenants and the landlords are all, on the same page and all happy.
Okay. As as you mentioned about the virus pandemic and stuff like that. Did, is there any does any impact from it, like towards your business?
Oh, most definitely. For example, like say it's just the rental arbitrage part of it, like just the Airbnb part. A lot of all cities been shut down, so there's not a lot of people vacating, for short-term rentals and stuff like that. I mean, like, and it's literally shot from literally like say about 2 or 3 dozen guests a month to
Mm-hmm.
literally none at all. Maybe one or two, but it wouldn't make sense. And like I said, it's not safe. So it really affected that part of it a lot. As far as the wholesaling part, like I said, we have an investment company that kind of
Mm-hmm.
deals with a few different parts. We have like rental arbitrage, property management. We also try to do some wholesaling, and some buying as well to renovate and flip and so forth. But we kind of been trying to lean towards wholesaling a little bit. That because they try to compensate for the lack of funds that we're able to make with Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
So we're right now what we're trying to do is strap our boots and just see
Mm-hmm.
what's out here. Just get up in the mud, get dirty, and
Mm-hmm.
just see what deals we can put together out here.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is stopping uh uh clients to book those like Airbnb rooms and stuff like that?
Oh,
What do you
that's that
personally think?
that that that's pretty much that's out of, yeah. It's just like health, like health concerns. It's just moving at a level of ethics. I don't think that it make much sense for anyone. Like I said, it's not safe. So honestly, I think I think you'd even get in trouble if you're doing things like that, because I think the government is trying to avoid that. So you just want everyone to just be on the same page, because like they say, the sooner everyone just like gets it together and everyone just like
Mm-hmm.
practices social distancing at its best way possible, then
Mm-hmm.
this will all be over with. So that, yeah, we pretty much try to just follow the rules and just it hurts, but we got to just patch it up. We got to just stop the bleeding.
So did the Airbnb company and stuff like that, did they stop the operation, like for you guys to
Oh, so as far as the Airbnb, the company
Mm-hmm.
is, I haven't, that's a great question. I haven't really checked in to check and see what exactly is going on with the company as far as a whole, like the company as a whole. But um, I know that they're telling us to hang in there. They're saying we'll all get through this together.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, what they're hoping is just that, is that we can hang in there tight, because without host, Airbnb couldn't function, because you can have a bunch of guests who are looking for short-term rentals, and if you have no short-term rentals, um the supply and demand, it wouldn't even out, so they want us to hang in there, and it could get tough, because it's a lot of expenses. For example, I have one condo in Northern Liberties. It's about
Mm-hmm.
$1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming out of pocket. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if we're not having any rentals, and so yeah, you can kind of run up a little debt, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when you kind of see what you're made of, because
Mm-hmm.
you got a lease. We do depending on the company and all that. In the contract, you have a lease, a minimum of a 1-year lease.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, unless you have a creative contract, you can maybe sometimes have a 6-month lease.
Mm-hmm.
you know, like a short trial period. But typically these places, they just do a 12-month lease, and so that's what you lock in on. And you don't never really foreshadow these things happening, so it's not really in a contract. If some type of pandemic like this happens, can we opt out of the contract, which is not in the
Mm-hmm.
contract? And so yeah, you can't take a little loss. You can definitely take a loss. We've lost some money, but like I said, if you can just like strap your boots on and just find other ways to like compensate for the loss, for the blood, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for the loss of that blood in that area, then
Mm-hmm.
you guys would be okay. But yeah, it is tough. It's tough, but you know, sometimes you just got to cut the losses. You know, sometimes you got to cut the losses, and then you got to come back stronger. You know, so for a lot of the other hosts that you know that they were doing really good, and then they just couldn't kept paying them. They couldn't continue paying the rent every month
Mm-hmm.
because they have no money coming in. You know, I can believe how much it sucks for them, and if they had to shut it down, and if they had
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, default into the lease, you know, it can be really tough, and it can be very, 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 you know, very, you know, aggravating and upsetting. But you know, it just comes with the game. You know, I'm sure that I'm young. I'm 26 now, but I know I
Mm-hmm.
always hear the older crowd. They're always talking about the crash in '08, or
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was '08, '09, around that time.
Yeah.
Um,
0809.
yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it
A
happens. It's just
crisis.
yeah,
Yep.
it's a crisis. It happens. You know, it just happens, and you just gotta roll with the punches, man. You got to roll with the punches. If you can't, you know, if you can't keep your head above water,
Hey, Danny, I think you're on mute
city will
again.
understand that.
Right.
Uh,
Wait. Can you hear me? I can
yes,
hear.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. I got a phone call. I had to ignore it. Excuse me.
Okay.
So, but yeah, like you know, it sucks, but you know, like I hope that they could just, you know, like somewhere down the line in the city, if you fall in default with the lease, I'm sure this situation on why you will fall into default will hopefully they'll take it into consideration, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 kind of, you know, cut you some slack because this was out of your control. It's not like you fell into default on the lease for any other reason other than, you know, a pandemic, a world pandemic that, you know, just kind of stopped everything. So you know, it's tough, and I can imagine. I'm grateful that I don't have that many. You know, we didn't put all our eggs in one basket. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we were going to go. We were going to like get about a dozen different units. Thank God, you know, thank God a lot of these spots were a little iffy about it because if
Mm-hmm.
they weren't and if they just jumped the gun right now, we'd have a ton of spots with a ton of furniture and we wouldn't know what to do with it. So yeah, you know, prayers out to those individuals, and you know, I hope they see it through.
So you don't have any like contract or anything like with Airbnb or whatever that would or other
The
companies
withdrawal
that
rental
would.
art. So the contracts you pretty much have are with um. There's no contract directly through you and Airbnb. You just have to you know, you just have to you know, you just have to do a lot of information, like personal information that they want to know about you, and you have to upload your spot and you know, just complete a brief summary of just what you're uploading on the site, you know, and they'll review it. Airbnb, they'll review it, and then you'll shortly be approved or accepted. You know, upon their search, their personal search on you, and then you know, and then you just go from there. But as far as the contracts, the only contracts you really have are with you and your property, and how, you know, how you subcontract your properties, you know. But other than that, yeah, pretty much anything that you can upload um on Airbnb that can be that's of quality, yeah, you can just pretty much upload it
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. Yep, and just make money just like that. It's pretty simple.
But there's no. I'm saying though, there's no other like contract with other like insurance company or something like that where you can cover.
Airbnb, they have about like $1 million insurance policy for
Mm-hmm.
all homes and their properties and stuff. So yeah, they pretty much back us. But yeah, there's no contracts, no insurance or stuff like that.
But what you mean back you guys up from what type of what kind of
Like
aspect? What kind of aspect?
for example, if like if a fire was to happen because from a guest, if a guest was to be staying at one of your spots and something were to happen, like the spot were to get burned down, God forbid, Airbnb backs it up to $1 million insurance policy for every host.
So okay, so you don't, do you have to pay some sort type of insurance, like with them or no?
No, I'm sure that I'm not too sure about the whole all the details on the insurance, but what I can say is that the Airbnb charges us a fee for every single reservation that's been that was processed for every host. So I'm sure they get their coins from that, and that's where they get the money back up to insurance. Yeah, because they make their money for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throughout this pandemic, are you doing it? Or are you doing anything to like prepare for it? Like after it's over, after the virus is over.
I'm sorry. Like, what do you mean as far as like prepare for?
Are you doing anything to like Are you doing anything to right now during this pandemic, for when it's over, like to improve
Yeah.
it?
So we're kind of we're getting ready to we're really excited to see what's going to be out here in the market after this whole pandemic because prayers out to all the families who were affected and that really it really hit hard. Like truthfully, like I really send my prayers out, my condolences out to those families and families who've been affected, to this virus and it's been sick and ill and those who've lost family members and loved ones. My prayers go out to them and my condolences. But I'm sure if you think what can happen to the real estate market after that happens, a bunch of probate properties. I'm sure you know what probate properties are, and a lot of foreclosures and tax sales and auction. Just the auction, I think it'll be filled with a lot of opportunities. So we're looking at getting a lot of capital and getting some investors in, and just going out there and buying a lot of stuff.
Okay.
That's what we're preparing for right now.
Are you
to get as much money as possible to go buy as much houses as we can.
All right. So are you? So you're not. So obviously you can't expand right now, right? During this pandemic. Are you looking like? Are you looking to like? Are you look? How big are you looking to like expand to like? After this pandemic, like?
I mean, we want to go international if possible. Yeah, we want to take this. We got some ventures that we're looking at out in Florida, Miami, Florida, out in 302. We got some ventures that we're looking at out in the West Coast. We're trying to see what's going on out there. Because like I said again, not only is this happening in our city, it might, my city is like it's like my backyard. So, the same thing that's going on in my backyard is going on in everyone's backyard. So, for example, in every other city. So I'm sure they have tax auctions and foreclosure auctions in every city. You just never know what you can get. You might go to an auction outside of your city, say somewhere in Florida, or say somewhere like in California, and you just never know what you can find. So yeah, I mean, we're looking to expand as far as we can go. We're building relationships. Today we got social media. Oh, excuse me. We're meeting a lot of different like-minded individuals through social media. We're connecting a lot with a lot of positive people. And so we're excited. We're excited to see what what we have in store.
Okay. How you started this business? Like is there any type of inspiration or anything?
Well, I mean, it's not. It's definitely what I would say. My inspiration is my why, and everything I do, and my motivation and inspiration is it's just really being able to provide for my family, and then helping my family members. My mom, she's older now, and she's unable to work,
Mhm.
so she collects, she collects a check every month, and she it's tough out here. That check is not enough, and so you want to help your family, you want to help your loved ones be comfortable, and
Mhm.
my whole thing is just freedom. I just, not financial freedom so much, but time freedom. Because you can get as much money as you can in the world, you can get as much money as you want maybe, but you
Mhm.
can't get your time back. So like,
Yeah, of course. Yep.
yeah, the more time I can have with my family, that's a win for me. So that's my inspiration right there, to work as hard as I can, to just be able to spend as much time with my family as I can.
Okay. So what this whole idea of doing like in uh this type of business, what do you get this idea from? Like what how you like how you started it, like the process and all that.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
How I'm saying, where did you get this, this business idea from? Like how you started everything, like what gave you this idea? Like
Honestly, it's crazy. I had just graduated from high school. I was working, working as
mhm,
security job at a bank, and you just always have you can find a mentor anywhere. It could be, it could either be at your job, it could be at your school, it could be, in your neighborhood, it could be one of your best friends, family members, which was the case for
mhm,
me. One of my best friends, his brother,
mhm,
was a young real estate investor, hard
mhm,
worker.
mhm,
I mean, do it yourself type of guy. Like
mhm,
he would do the work himself, and I could just remember like it was yesterday, man. How I just keep him company, and he's putting up the sheetrock to the ceiling. I mean, like literally putting up the ceiling by himself. Just
mhm,
doing a foundation to the bathroom, you know, um, just all the woodwork, and just literally, like the dude was a genius. He'd read and do it himself, and it'd come out amazing. Sometimes don't, he'd have, maybe a hand help him, a hand or two help him, but for the most part, that dude would do it himself. And I just seen him grow from living in his mom's basement, to buying his first property and renovating that, to getting another one, renovating that, and renting the
mhm,
last one that he lived in, to getting another one, renting the last two he got. And it's just like rinse and repeat. And
mhm,
and just seeing the life he lives, and positive, and just definitely hard worker. He sacrifices a lot of nights of just being able to relax, and just and
mhm,
just and just chill. But he decides to just be in the property that's completely just needs to be flipped inside out, and he's sleeping in it to wake up and start just from scratch on his own, step by step, and to just see the progress that he makes day by day. It was really inspiring. It was really inspiring. And I don't know. I just decided, like, this, as I was younger and stuff, I always seen it and admired it, and I just said, maybe that might be for me. I might be able to, do that. Although I'm not very hands-on with the construction
mhm,
side of things, I have a close friend of mine. He has a
mhm,
construction business, and so what we'll do is, we'll scratch each other's backs. So what we'll do is I'll give him a percentage of the deal when once it's over, and that's how we'll move. He'll get the job done. We'll sell the
mhm,
property or however it works, and I'll take care of him. So, even if you're not a handyman, and you're not much of a contractor, or a carpenter yourself, and you're not really like savvy with that type of stuff, you can always build relationships with those who are, and you
mhm,
guys can always negotiate, and come to an understanding of how you guys can both benefit from it. From his skill, and
mhm.
from your knowledge and your skill of what you're able to do. It's pretty cool. But yeah, man, that's where I got my inspiration from. And I like nice things, man. I like nice food. I like nice clothes, and it's not hard to find once you open the book and you start looking how are most of the millionaires made out here. And
Mhm,
we both know that it's from real estate.
mhm,
So
mhm.
so it's no brainer. It's pretty much a no brainer.
Well, so, you know, like let's go back to the pandemic, right? You, you know, as like we are a lot of business owner on right taking losses right now. So my question for you is, during this downfall, are you planning on stopping with the business, or find other type of source of income to cover those?
Yeah, as far as Airbnb, uh,
Yeah.
that we're definitely putting a stop, like putting a pause on for right now until things get back
Mhm.
to normal. And yeah, to compensate for that, like I said earlier, we're kind of trying to step into the whole wholesale game and
Mhm.
see what's out there. But we're not going to stop the company at all. That's you can't never quit. I won't stop until my heart stops. Like it's just what I love to do. I just love it. I love the game. I love
Mhm.
being able to get out there every day and just work. And just work. So it's it's definitely not going to stop. It's just you got to learn to adapt, and so that's what we're doing. We'll definitely adapt in areas that we have to.
Okay. Um, what another question for you is, what is one of the best advices that you have ever gotten from someone?
That's a good question, man. I got a lot of good advice from a lot of different investors, but what I can say, one of the most important things is like what Warren Buffett said. He said, don't. This is not exactly what he said, but this is along the
Mhm.
lines of what he said. He said, you know, don't ever, invest like with emotion,
Mhm.
like, and like pretty much don't ever get caught up in the hype. You know,
Mhm.
um, a lot of people are very persuasive when it comes to getting people to invest in something, and that's what some people are just good at. That's some people's gifts is just persuasion and
Mhm.
selling something. But don't ever invest into something that might sound like the greatest thing ever, and
Mhm. Mhm.
you can do the numbers and you can actually like check the statistics and you got
Analyze it
you
yourself.
got yeah, analyze it and you got real numbers. You never want to invest in anything for any other reason than that. But to know, it's a safe and sound investment. It doesn't have to get you rich overnight, but
Mhm.
that you gradually get a return on your investment, and yeah, you want to do, yeah, you don't want to gamble too much. You
Mhm.
don't ever want to gamble your money and do an emotional investment and then disappoint yourself. But I don't know. That's maybe one of the most important things. Maybe because I took a few losses in my life, which might not be my last. I might not ever, we still might have losses to take, and we all have still a lot to learn. But that's
Mhm.
one thing that always stuck with me is just never invest emotionally. Just invest with your brain, and not so much with your heart and your feelings.
Okay. Um. So what kind of advices do you have for the upcoming young entrepreneurs?
Well, you got a lot of good talent coming out now, man. With this new, like, the tech world, it's it's
Mhm.
it's it's crazy. It's they get smarter and smarter. It's like it's funny. Our parents make it's funny. It's hilarious how the cycle happens. It's like our parents make us feel. They say we make them feel old, but the generation now, the next generation after us, makes us they're starting to make us feel old, like with everything they do and all the different apps that they know how to do and the editing.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of good talent coming out and a lot of like educated and smart kids in the next generation. And my advice to them is just it's just don't rush it, like don't rush things, and just work. You're young, and find out what you're really good at. Don't worry about your weaknesses. It's kind of to piggyback it off of what Gary Vee says. He says, don't ever work off your weaknesses. Work off your strengths.
Mhm.
Work off your strengths. You know, go hard at what you're good at, not what you're not good at. You know.
Mhm.
you can. It's never bad to practice at something you're not good at. It's never bad to, but you want to stay with, and if you want to, bring something to the table, bring something to the table that you're strong. That's your strong suit, not something you're weak at. And I don't know, just that, don't rush things. Take your time, put the work in, and work on your strengths. Find out what you're good at, and be the best at it.
Okay.
Find out what you're good at it. Be the best at it.
Okay. That's my last question for you. And before we end this, because we're kind of running over the time.
Yeah, for sure.
We're like, yeah. So what are the traits or qualities that you think makes a successful business owner or for entrepreneur?
I'll give you a few traits. I think a few traits that make a successful entrepreneur or business owner is definitely time management is one. Great time management. Great time management. Great time management. Great team leader who knows how to work with others. An individual who works well with others, who knows how to lead a team and knows how to understands different persons, different type of personalities and characteristics. Of course, responsibility. Being very responsible, reliable individual, trustworthy. A trustworthy person that you know what I mean, is a honorable individual, and just a person of respect, an individual of respect, and loving individual of respect. That has dignity and pride and has ethics. That has standards and morals of living. Not someone that'll just do anything for a dollar. I think that type of individual is my ideal successful entrepreneur / business owner in my eyes.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Right.
It's an honor to have you as my guest, and thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here, man. Thanks for having me. You have a wonderful night, y'all. Thank you.
All right, thank you.